Hey everyone, it's Jordan. So for this module, I decided to go the route of analyzing an online course that I taught to my science classes. So as I go through this, I'll be using the QM Standards K-12 rubric that was provided for us. So the first thing here, course overview and introduction. So I do have instructions posted on how to access all the materials. And I also have introduction video posted as well. Both of these things are on Schoology, which is the online learning platform that we use in my district. And I have this posted, and so I'll talk a lot as we go through this, that most of this course was synchronous, but again, I do have these things posted if students need to go back and access it again, just so they can watch on their own time if needed. Everything the students need for this course is all located just in one place. Again, it's on Schoology. I do set pretty clear expectations for students during the synchronous meeting times that we'll have. I don't do any self-introductions here for this course because this is not the first one that I taught to them this year, so we would have done all the self-introductions and all of that at the beginning of the school year. No real prerequisite knowledge needed, none necessary. This is just a part of the regular 5th grade curriculum, although there is information that I do reference that I'm expecting them to know from 4th grade before they come to me. So the learning objectives, I have the overall unit objectives stated at the very beginning of the course, so the students know the 3 big purposes that we'll be accomplishing as we go throughout the unit. But then also specific lesson objectives are listed and outcomes are listed as well as I go throughout the course. And the objectives are designed for elementary level students. Again, this is a 5th grade class. So assessment and measurement, I do try to assess the students throughout this course in a variety of ways. So I have quizzes, a project they do. There is a performance assessment and also a unit test. The students and their families are already aware of the grading breakdown. I go through all at the beginning of the school year. So they know the percentages, but basically for my district, the breakdown is summative assessments are 70% of the grade, formative assessments are 25%, and homework assignments that I grade are 5%. I do set clear expectations for synchronous meeting times, as well as what's expected of the students if they are completing asynchronous work. The instructional materials that I have for this course, again, everything is kid-friendly, user-friendly. Really try to keep the reading pretty minimal, especially with science text. That can be a challenge. Just understanding that students are doing this from a distance, so that just adds another level of challenging, situations for some of these kiddos. And all the material that I'm using is current. So learning activities and learner interaction was the next piece here on the rubric as we went through it. So I do explain the why to the students at the beginning of each lesson as we go throughout the unit together. I've already referenced this course was a mix of synchronous and asynchronous work. Students did have the ability to interact during synchronous lessons. Again, I set those expectations pretty clearly for how they could do that. And then also the students communicate with me, of course, during synchronous times, communicate with their peers. And then I do have office hours set aside just for my virtual learners, as well as students have access to me all of the time, of course, through their email accounts or messaging me on Schoology. So the technology that's needed to complete this course, everything that's needed and all work that's completed is accessible on their student iPads. We are a one-to-one district, so each student has access to their own school-issued iPad. Even though this was an online course, I still tried to promote active learning as much as possible, mainly through Zoom. So that's how the students would join the class synchronously. So I try to have lots of breakout rooms set up from different times where students could be interacting with each other, as well as, of course, interacting with me. And all course tools and technology pieces are up to date that the students are going to need as they go through this. So it leads us into the next one here on the rubric, any sort of support the students would need. Again, I tried to set the course and design in a way that, specific supports would be pretty minimal that the students would need as they're learning online. But the protocol is if something does come up, they do contact me first with the tech issue and I look into it. And if it's something that I can't resolve, I do contact our tech department at the district, and then hopefully they're able to resolve that for the student. So throughout this course, accessibility and usability, I try to keep the navigation logical. So I have a course textbook that the students go through online, and everything that we learn just follows sequential order. Again, everything the students needed is accessible online. Everything for this course that I'll use, any materials I have linked right into the notebook that they have, so everything is accessible right on the iPad, including linked videos, online instruction. Again, I've already talked about, I tried to really keep the reading support that we needed at a minimum, and I don't have any sort of required technology statements. The students just need their student iPad. So from our reading from the playbook for this module, two things that we really needed to focus on were credibility and clarity. So first of all, credibility. My online students need to know and understand that they can trust me even as they're learning from a distance. So it's really important to just build those relationships, especially with your online students. And I do that during synchronous morning meeting times, as well as I've already talked about. I do have office hours set up in my day specifically just for virtual learners. I'm honest and open with the students, as we go throughout the unit. When they ask questions, I give them answers that are clear and concise, and I'm straight up honest with them. If there's a question they ask that I don't know, I'll tell you, hey, I don't know that, but we're going to look into it together, and we'll try to find the answer. And again, just being reliable and consistent in the course, and I do that, through synchronous Zooms, having those set up every single day. The students can just know that, every single day at a specific time, they can be with me online and learning. And again, giving them opportunities to interact with their peers and then responding to them with their questions via Zoom chat, email, or messaging on Schoology. And the other piece was clarity. So my goal for this unit was to have everything, accessible and organized and easily accessible. I want to make sure my teaching is clear and accurate. And, one thing that stuck out to me from the playbook was, this last thing I have here. What am I learning? Why am I learning it? And how will I know that I learned it? So I've already talked about, the why. I always try to bring that up at the very beginning of class, because students, especially at this age, that's what they want to know. Why are we taking the time to learn this? And then as we go throughout the lessons together, I explain to the students what we will be learning, and then hopefully through the different assessments that I've given, students will know that they've learned it. So again, this course fully online, designed by myself as well as two colleagues, so appreciate any feedback that you might have as you go through this video. So this would be an example then of what the course looks like, just briefly. So again, this is Schoology. This is our online learning platform. And this would be the notebook that we've created and put together for our online learners. So again, right here at the very beginning, here's the 3 essential questions. What is the universe and what's Earth's place in it? How and why is Earth constantly changing? And how do Earth's processes and human activities affect each other? So these are the big overall pictures. Over here on the right-hand side, then, you can see the different lessons that we'll go through that relate to our space unit. And again, all of these are links that students can just click on. So for example, if I go to the Orbits tab, so as I go through my different lessons on orbits, again, here's the lesson essential question: how does gravity create the Earth's orbit? And then how are seasons formed? Here's all the videos that I'll be referencing and using that I have linked right into the notebook. Here's some very basic reading that I have linked in here. I use another piece of technology called Gizmos, if some of you are familiar with that, which again the students can access all on their iPad, and I have everything linked for them in Schoology, so anything they'll need they can access there. Again, just some more reading and different things, so you get the general idea. So that was the goal, that when we created this course for students, just understand that they would be completely online, and hopefully they can easily access everything that they'll need from their iPads from a distance. So again, I appreciate any feedback that you might have to offer as you watch this video, and just take a brief review of the course that we've created.